Hello, dear friend, and welcome. A fascinating and unforgettable group that left its mark on everyone's hearts with hits that still take us back to the 80s. If I mention just the song Mississippi from 1975, it's already quite easy to figure out which story we'll be telling today, isn't it? What almost no one knows is that not everything was rosy, even for artists who were widely known and successful worldwide. From a very humble beginning to financial difficulties in keeping the band active, we will trace the rise and eventual conclusion of this group, all while indulging in a bit of sweet nostalgia with their music. Today, let's revisit and recount the story of Pussycat, this significant band that emerged in Europe in the 70s and even made its mark on the Brazilian charts. Welcome back to our channel. With undeniable success across the globe, the Pussycat Group originated in Limburg, Netherlands, as a fusion of Dutch pop and country music. No one would have imagined that the charisma and talent of the three united sisters would lead to the single Mississippi topping charts in various countries, including Brazil, where the song stayed an incredible 129 weeks among the most played, a unique feat for a Dutch band. It's impossible to tell the story of this group without mentioning the three Kowalik sisters, who exuded voice and charm: Tony, Will, Betty, and Marianne.
Georgie, but when the song's been often played.
Despite always being connected to music, the three sisters, before their big breakthrough in the 70s, even worked as telephone operators. Growing up in the city of Limburg, the childhood and lives of the sisters were marked by music, stemming from a tragic event that unfolded by chance. When Marianne was 2, Betty 1, and Tony just born, their father passed away from Hodgkin's disease, a type of lymphatic system cancer. 3 years later, the most significant influence in the sisters' musical career, Stefan Kowalik, entered their lives through their mother. Stefan, a Polish miner, assumed the role of a father figure and played a pivotal role in the musical development of the future Pussycat members. At the ages of 6, 7, and 8, the stepfather gifted each sister a guitar, sparking their performances in talent shows and competitions, earning them the moniker the Singing Sisters in 1963. It was during this period that the distinctive harmony singing style of the sisters developed. With the support of their stepfather, the girls blossomed into accomplished artists. An intriguing aspect was the initial repertoire of the three sisters, primarily consisting of German pop songs,
Can I reach for the sun, find a place?
which changed due to the arrival and profound influence of another band that touched many hearts, the Beatles, who revolutionized the global music industry. A few years later, with Betty on guitar, Marianne on bass, Tony on vocals, and a friend, Tanya Ron, on drums, they formed a band around the late 1960s, marking the beginning of their more recognized musical journey. They completely abandoned their German musical repertoire, adapting to the successful movement in the country with an all-female band. They became known as the Bee Gees from Holland, where BG stood for Beat Girls, translating to the Rhythmic Girls of the Netherlands. They were one of the first female groups in the Netherlands. Remember the distinctive harmony from their childhood? Well, it endured, and during this period, they sang many songs from the Bee Gees, becoming known as the Dutch Bee Gees. In this humble phase, the girls rehearsed in their garage and had a minivan, a gift from their parents, for transportation to various venues. Although they hadn't achieved success yet, the sisters fondly remember this time as the best period of their lives. A few years later, in 1973, a new lineup emerged, now including male members. The new formation comprised the three sisters plus Lou Will, a guitarist from a band called Ricky Randall and his Centurions, and Hans Lenz, a drummer from a band called Scum. The process of launching a musical career is often challenging and doesn't always yield immediate success. In 1973, under the name Sweet Reaction, they took a chance with the single Tellin', which unfortunately didn't make the expected impact and didn't sell well. Another single, Come Back My Dream, fared better in numbers, but still lacked significance. By the time they released the third commercial song, the group felt the need for a name change. So when they unveiled the third single, Daddy, right below the band name at the time, Sweet Reaction was alongside it, now officially Pussycat. We're approaching the era of the big hits that have left an indelible mark on us with the band Pussycat. If you're enjoying the story of this influential group so far, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue sharing these unforgettable stories. By 1975, the band's lineup featured Tony, the blonde and charming sister, as the lead singer, with her sisters as backing vocals, accompanied by Lou and Will as guitarists, Phil Wetzel's on bass, John Tennyson as another guitarist, and now Theo Cummins as the drummer. However, Phil remained with the group only until 1978. The band, now known as Pussycat, finally began to take shape under the guidance of Eddie Hilberts as the producer. The first major songs of the band were all written by Thunis, a Dutch composer who achieved triumph alongside the three sisters. Despite many hits that we will also present in this video, we must pay special attention to one in particular, and you probably already know which one: Mississippi. Undoubtedly the most iconic song of the Pussycat Group. This song is like a love letter to those musical styles that defined the era, such as American country and folk. They were the soul of the music, but were starting to be overshadowed, losing ground to the rock that was dominating the spotlight. The lyrics of Mississippi are special because they speak of longing. It's as if it's telling the story of a golden era of music that is bidding farewell, flowing away like the Mississippi River, heading towards the sea. It reminisces about the days when these gentle melodies and poetic lyrics were the soundtrack of people's lives, bringing a sense of comfort and familiarity. The song serves as a tribute and a remembrance of musical styles that, even though they are no longer at the top of the charts, serve as a reminder that while times change, good music and the good moments they bring will endure. With an impressive over 7 million copies sold worldwide, the single Mississippi was released in 1975, but reached its peak only in 1976. Initially, the song did not have a significant impact until a Dutch radio station started playing it, thinking it was from a British band. Then Mississippi began airing on other radio stations, and the group was invited to perform live. By November 1975, the single was already in the top 40 and began its unparalleled ascent. Initially, due to a lack of interest, the single wouldn't be released in Germany or England. When it was finally released in the fall of 1976, it quickly reached the #1 spot, and it doesn't stop there. In addition to topping the charts in the Netherlands, Germany, and England, the hit also achieved this feat in 30 countries worldwide, including Brazil, Switzerland, Austria, and Norway. This song captured the hearts of Brazilians so profoundly that it stayed at the top of the charts in our country for an incredible 129 weeks. The song was also recorded by artists like Barbara Fairchild and Lucille Starr, although it didn't reach the top in the United States. Following this global success, Pussycat continued to produce music and remained relevant. In 1976, the song Smile reached the 2nd spot on the Dutch charts. My Broken Souvenirs also topped the charts, and Georgie, which claimed the 4th position. These songs were also released in German in an attempt to reach the German audience more intensely, but none achieved as much success as Mississippi, sung in English. Even the German version of Mississippi was less successful in Germany. In January 1977, the group received an award called the Edison Music Award, being the first Dutch pop act to top the British charts with Mississippi. In 1978, they released Hey Joe. In 1975, there was also a change in drummers for the band. Hans Lutz joined to replace Cummins. In the same year, the album Wet Day in September was released, following 2 significant predecessors. First of all in 1976 and Souvenirs in 1977. Over the next 7 years, counting from 1978, the band continued with intense and successful production. New albums such as Simply to Be With You and The Best of Pussycat were released in 1979, followed by Blue Lights in 1981, and in 1983, the last album released with the group still active. After all, some of the band's major hits in the 80s included Take Me, Pasadena, Same Old Song, and Doing La Bamba. These songs were also recorded in German. Undoubtedly, the group had a solid and highly successful career spanning approximately 10 years, with numerous albums released and countless hit singles. They performed in many places worldwide and received the deserved love and recognition. However, during the 80s, things began to get a bit challenging, and the group had to reinvent itself due to financial limitations. They could no longer afford to bring an extensive backing band to their performances, restricting themselves at that time to using recordings. This, along with other factors, led to the band's end in 1985. As Tony, the main vocalist, recounted, we had to build a professional organization due to the success of Mississippi. This wasn't so easy, especially when we started touring. We even went to South Africa. However, after a while, financing large tours with a group of that size became increasingly difficult. During this period, it also became popular to work with tapes instead of live musicians. With a heavy heart, we parted ways with our backing band and started performing with recordings. In 1985, my sisters wanted to dedicate more time to themselves, and so we all agreed that stopping Pussycat was the best decision to make. That's when Marianne decided to take over a bar, and Betty chose to focus on her family. Tony, however, was the only one who decided to continue with a music career. In addition to various covers, Tony released several albums, including Privilege in 1985, Working Girl in 1987, New Words to an Old Love Song in 1989, Fantastic Stories in 2006, Worlds United in 2009, and her last released album, Golden Memories, in 2010, along with various compilations featuring Pussycat songs. Warner Thunis, who wrote numerous songs for the band, including the global hit Mississippi, unfortunately passed away from a heart attack in 2010 at a restaurant in England. He continued writing songs until his last days, including a final one for Tony called Impressions, which she performed as a tribute in 2012. Adding to the losses is guitarist John Thunis, who passed away in 2015 at the age of 66. The sisters reunited a few times to reminisce about the great hits in some shows and to promote albums celebrating the glorious days of the group, such as the double CD 25 Years After Mississippi. However, they have stated that there was never a possibility of the band making a comeback and that they sing together as a hobby and only at family gatherings. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the past of this impressive group that left its mark on Brazil and the world. Now, from the bottom of my heart, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment down below. Do you also feel nostalgic listening to Mississippi? Do you still enjoy listening to Pussycat? See you in the next video.